Guys, hope you're all doing good. Welcome back to another video. So in this one, I want to go over 5 things that you can start doing from literally today to start building muscle at a rapid rate compared to what you've been doing in the past. Now, 99% of the time online, all the information given around building muscle, dieting, losing weight, gaining weight is very much long-term thinking. If you apply, it's not going to pay off for years. Now, don't get me wrong, that is literally the process of building muscle. But these are things which if you apply tomorrow, you might not see the results and grow an extra 2 to 3 inches on your bicep tomorrow, but you're going to realize that you've been missing out. You're going to feel more fatigued, you're going to have better pumps, and you're going to lift more than you knew you could. And as I said, they are very simple things that you can literally apply after watching this, so there are no excuses. So number one, starting off super basic, is a training plan. The reason I start this basic is because without a structured plan around you, nothing else that we say on the other 4 points are going to do anything. There can no longer be going into the gym, picking up a random workout off TikTok or Instagram or just someone who's in shape and just giving it a go. We need to go to the gym with a structured workout that we repeat every Monday, then every Tuesday, and every Wednesday. So for me, that's push, pull legs, push and arms, and then posterior and back. So 5 days in the gym, same session each week. If I get super bored, we'll swap things out every couple of weeks, but you worry about that when it comes. You can't just go in the gym and wing it and hope something sticks. You have to know what you're doing, otherwise you can't progress. And if you can't progress, you're not giving your body and your muscle a reason to grow. Sometimes what a lot of people do is they're not actually training like they think they are and building muscle. They're actually just exercising with weights, which if you can figure out what that means, you're pretty much going in the gym and doing an aerobic class. Just because you might be training a bit heavy, trying out the bench press and things like that, your body doesn't know this. It only knows what it feels. So going into number 2, based off this training plan, each phase of hypertrophy needs to be ticked off within that plan. So that's intensity through weight of the movement, time under tension, and burnout. So what that could look like is starting your plan off with a couple of cable flies just to get used to it, get the blood in the muscle, not really trying to go too crazy. But then we go into our main weighted movement, which could be a barbell bench press, incline chest press dumbbell, flat dumbbell press, anything like that where you're going to focus more on the weight. Still keep it controlled, but very heavy dominant. And then we go to time under tension. This could be a Smith machine, a machine press, something which gives us that bit more stability. And then you've got your burnout. Now we're doing a good couple, 3 to 4 sets of heavier cable flies, smashing out the reps, still keeping that tempo, but the last 2, we're really just trying to burn them out. So we've got to make sure every body part has these layers ticked off, so the body is getting a good enough reason to adapt. Number 3, my favorite one, which anytime I give it to a client when they join, they are telling me the next day how much they realize they should have done this earlier. Now, this is tempo. So it's great to progressive overload and tick off these phases within our plan and what the muscle needs to grow. But your body is not just going to assume what your brain knows, like I mentioned earlier. We need to be accurate. You could be going in and ticking off the burnout, the tempo, the weight. But if you're just throwing the weight around, there's no real technique and form, how does your body know what you're trying to progress on? Again, then you're just doing heavy aerobics and you're going to end up getting injured. So tempo control is getting that form bang on, getting a pure control in every part of the movement. I like to do 3 seconds of stretching the muscle, pause at the bottom. So if I was on a bench press, it'd be 3 seconds on the way down, pause at the bottom, push back up, pause at the top. Obviously you can alter this a little bit when you're trying to go a bit heavier, but the control has to remain. Otherwise you're not hitting the fibers that we want to be hitting to actually grow. Now, the next one, just as important as the rest, you have to give your body a reason to adapt and grow. So each week we need to progressive overload. This isn't just as blunt as what I thought it used to be, which is go heavy every single week. But it could just be do the same amount of weight you did last week for the same amount of reps, but make them more accurate. Can you control it more? Can you feel them more? So I like to do 3 sets of 8 to 10. I'll go for a certain weight for 8 reps, and then next week I'll try to do it for 9 or 10. Once I hit 10, I'll go heavier again and start to build it back up, but start from 8. But there have been plenty of times where I've hit a certain weight for 10 reps. I could and should maybe go heavier the next week, but I know those 10 reps were pretty sloppy. So I know I need to work on getting 10 reps perfect before I worry about progressing again. So don't get too caught up on the weight. You could progress by just being more accurate, a bit more volume, an extra rep, sometimes even go lighter and do more reps. Just give your body a reason to think something different is going on, but not just for the sake of it, but you're forcing it to adapt by going that bit harder. Now finally, rounding it off with the mindset around training. We are not just ticking it off for the week. We're not just getting a quick pump and smashing it out. When we can be asked after work, after a busy day, yes, we can be effective, we can be in and out, we can not piss about, and we can get a quick pump, but we have to have a clear objective for each session. Because as I said, otherwise, why would the body adapt and grow? If you're just going in there and ticking it off on your last legs from a busy day, the body, if anything, is just going to feel fucking worse. We're all going to have sessions where we're a bit tired, I'm not saying that, but we just have to have a bit of structure around it as well. picking our rest days, knowing when's best to train, not being in that mindset where we try and go to the gym 4 days a week, but sometimes we hit 2 or 3. We need to know how many can we go. It doesn't have to be 5, 6, 7. It can be 2 or 3. How many days in the gym are we going? And we hit that, we recover on our rest days, and that doesn't get interrupted. That is our routine, that is our structure, and we always have to protect it to actually get the progress. Yes, you can move rest days around. I do it all the time when needed. And a little bonus one on top of that then, earn your rest days. Don't just take a rest day for the sake of it. Make sure when it comes around to that rest day, your body needs it. I'm not saying go and overtrain if you don't need a rest day, but that rest day is implemented because you should be training hard enough to give your body that reason to grow, like I keep banging on about, that you need to rest so it grows. So if you apply these 5 things, starting right now, all very simple, so as I said, no excuses, you're going to realize how much you've been missing out. And just to summarize that, so you can go and get it done, note it down and get started straight away. Training plan, same sessions on the Monday, same sessions on the Tuesday, build it around the body parts that you need to develop. Each phase needs to be ticked off in every session, so weight, time and attention, and burnout. Make sure there's control and tempo in every lift, and you're counting the seconds of stretching the muscle, pause in, push in. Give the muscle a reason to adapt each week, so go a bit heavier, do an extra rep, go a bit slower, be more accurate, and then restructure that mindset around training. You need to know what days we're training, what days we're resting, why we're doing it, and it needs to become something we protect. If you've got any questions, feel free to reach out on social media. I have also added a free workout plan into my bio. I'm going to link it in the description of this video as well, where I literally tick off everything you need with another detailed video in that session. It's a Google Sheet document. It breaks down a push, pull, legs workout. So it's worth going to grab that, even if you just use it for some inspiration.